mean, like, it's amazing to have you here. And as I was mentioning, I'm a big fan of your work with Watch the Footage. I love horror movies, and as I was saying a few minutes before, and I mean, like, I also really like your paintings, your art, Allisyn. It's great.
Thank
I got two of them. I still have to frame them because I still have to move to my new place, and here I'm only renting, but I have them here. So
I know you got your own little collection.
yeah, I like them. So I really love them. So I mean, it's that kind of style that it's a bit like dark and cartoonish at the same time that I really like. So I mean,
Thank
like,
you. Yeah,
no
my
worries.
art is such a fun little thing to see how people react to it. I found it interesting to see who reacts to it being like, "Ooh, this is so cute," and then the other half of people are like, "This is so creepy." Like it just kind of rides that line of like seeing how people react to it. It's just always really fun.
Yeah, there is another one that I think I'm gonna get into there eventually. Like the unknown, I think the gray
Yeah.
alien. That's so scary. I mean, like, I think I kind of want that, but at the same time, I think if I wake up and I see that on my wall, I'm gonna freak out. Like.
Thank you.
I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of conspiracy theories about aliens. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe it, but I do love them. Like.
I know Dylan and I have talked about doing music projects together and just sampling different clips of, people talking about reptilians and just make it a whole big conspiracy theory thing of just taking sound bites of
taking moments of like the Betty and Barney Hill abduction tapes as well, like just using that, sampling that in random places. It's really bad audio quality, but that's why it can be creepy.
But yeah, today this is episode 11 of the Corner L'Angolo di Gabe. So that's a new. It's gonna be after episode 10. I was saying that I was going to have a new style, a new logo, and a new music. Hopefully, that will be once I publish this. And today I have two special guests, very special guests for my new format. Dylan and Ashley. And Allisyn Snyder. See, like, I'm very excited to have you. So I'm actually inverting the name. So yeah, Allisyn and Dylan Snyder. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much. Of course.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about like acting and directing career, art. Like, this is a podcast about hobbies, passions, and lifestyle. So I mean, like, I guess you guys have a lot of passions and a lot of hobbies, so we can talk about that a little bit. Like, and we'll go from there, I guess, right?
Perfect.
Sorry, I'm really, really excited. This is I want to brag a little bit this because I have listeners from both Canada, States, and someone from Italy as my original country. And my best friend and his fiance and his brother are huge Disney fans. So I need to brag with them. Like, they know you guys for Disney better than I know you guys for Disney. I'm a lot older. I'm a lot older than you. So when you guys were filming Disney, I was already an adult. I mean, like, fully adult. So I wasn't really.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I remember when we were on the Disney Channel and, people would come up in public and ask for photos, when children come up, or like clearly the parents of the children come up. But then when you get like 30-year-olds coming up and being like, "Hey, you're so wonderful on the show," you're like, why are you watching? Where's your child?
Especially when we're like 13. It's like, we're 13, 14-year-olds, and you have
like older people coming up, and you're like, what are you doing watching the Disney Channel?
I mean, like, we're gonna go probably back to Disney towards the end. I would like to talk, if you guys want, about Watch the Footage and your productions. That's amazing. You guys are so young, and you guys already have acting and directing experience. So you have your own production company. It's you guys are only 22 or 21. I mean, like 23. Okay, so I mean, like, it's amazing. It's successful. Your productions are really good, and somehow alternative compared to the mainstream horror movies. So I really enjoy that, to be honest.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, both Dylan and I have grown up in the entertainment industry. Myself, I've been acting since 4 years old, so that's 2 decades. And, we've always been so fascinated with everything that goes on behind the camera. And it can be a little bit frustrating as an actor. You go out there and you do your couple lines, and it's like it's scripted by somebody else, and like you're dressed by somebody else. Somebody else does your hair and makeup, and then you show up, you do your line the best best of your ability, and they're like, okay, now go sit over there for 4 hours while we set up the next shot. And you're like, you only get to be such a tiny part of the creative process and only put in your tiny little bit of contribution. Whereas if you're the one behind the camera, it's like you get to take a project from start to finish and make sure you're like shaping it, and just watching that whole process is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was on Kicking It, and I was young. I was 12 when we shot the pilot, 13 when we started filming the show. And we finished the show when I was about 17. And during that time, I was kind of like, I guess, growing into myself and realizing the kind of scope of the industry and how big filmmaking was. And something that fascinated me was it takes a couple hundred people to make a series, and probably a couple thousand if you go really dive into every single department.
Yeah.
But even just on set, that's so many people, so many jobs, and I didn't know what they did. And so I wanted to learn what exactly they did. So while I was on the show, I spent time shadowing pretty much every department, kind of just seeing a little glimpse into what exactly are you doing right now? How does this make the project get done?
Yeah, and so both Dylan and I really loved talking to all sorts of different crew members and kind of seeing the whole process. And it was really fun because I graduated at age 15, and I started taking cinematography classes at 17 in like a community college. And it was nice taking community college classes because, I wasn't there for, getting a piece of paper that I said I completed a course. I wasn't there for grades or anything. I was just there to learn and use the equipment and speak to, these professors who were really knowledgeable about film and film equipment. And so it's like getting my hands on things, especially for an affordable community college price, was invaluable, and being able to like sit there in an editing bay and, edit projects right there with them by my side. It was so helpful. And it's like, I've always been a hands-on learner. And so after I took a few semesters, we teamed up with a couple family friends of ours and just started producing really small, just kind of low budget short films, just to sort of, get on that set environment and take things very seriously. Both Dylan and I have had a lot of experience shooting little like home movies in the backyard, where it's like, whether you're filming it on your phone or like a little flip camera. I remember I used to have one of those like flip HDs. But this time we were like, okay, let's actually get like nicer cameras, and let's get some lighting set up, and let's like do this in a legit way. Even if we're only like a 3 or 4 person crew, let's just kind of like take ourselves a little bit more seriously, rent a location, have auditions, hire actors. And it really just kind of put into perspective how many jobs there are and how many things you have to think about. And each short film sort of got a little bit bigger as we went along.
That's a lot of work, right? I mean, like it's amazing. Like you see the final product on TV, and then you realize even for independent productions, how much work there is behind.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I think that most people watching film or television don't realize, with single camera television, disregarding sitcoms, with single camera television like dramas. Every single shot that you see is an entirely new setup of the camera.
It was done at a different part of the day.
Right. If we have a scene together and you only see one of us in each shot, that is twice that we've had to film it. One for me
at
and
least,
one for
yeah.
her. I just, setups entirely.
Yeah, like you might watch one action scene and that could have taken them like 3 weeks to film.
Right. So it's our 13-minute short film, Room 566, it took us 4 days to film, which we made a great time on those 4 days, but still that's 4 days of filming, not to mention the time editing. It's
something that goes by in under 20 minutes.
It's insane. And I love it. I love that. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate watch the footage, and I was saying, because it's simple, but it's direct. And as I said, like it's also, I don't know if that's the right word for Room 566, but it's also, as I said, I mentioned before, introspective, but very philosophical, like the hospital, the guy, like the fear for his little sister, like this kind of legend that it's really great. It's really, I would say, like it's really tough to watch, it's really great to watch, but it really makes you feel, like you're feeling it, like you want this, how's it gonna end? Like what's happening here? Like it's really, it brings anxiety, which is what you want what you want from an horror movie, from an horror movie,
Thank you. That makes us feel good. Thank you. That's really nice to hear. We making this project, Dylan directed it. I wrote the project, and I have this irrational phobia of hospitals. They call it, some of the doctors that I've met with have called it white coat syndrome. I just Oh, you too?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yes, big
Yeah.
time.
It's difficult because, like, I'll be, getting a checkup. It could be something really simple. I might, have a cold and I need to go in and get antibiotics. It could be anything small, but like even just something as simple as getting my blood pressure taken has made me pass out before. And it's like, I can't explain it. And it's like, I can sit there and be like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm totally fine. Like, I understand I'm not going to hurt, or like get hurt. And they'll even tell me, they're like, oh, don't worry, it doesn't hurt. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's not the fear of pain. It's like, even when it's like painful, it's like, it's almost, that's something for me to focus on. It's not about the pain. It's just the whole environment, and something about it just makes me really uncomfortable. And so Room 566 was supposed to capture that essence of like something you can't quite put your finger on, or something you don't understand. It just feels like, the nurses aren't telling you everything, and there's just more going on behind, and you're trying to get to the bottom of it. And I just wanted to make sure that anxiety built.
I completely feel you. I have white coat syndrome. Every time I go to an ambulatory or an hospital, even to take only my blood pressure the first time comes up so much higher. And doctor worry because you see a big guy, like let's say a fat guy, and they say, oh my God, this guy has a high blood pressure, which I actually don't have. But like the first measurement is always like super high, and I have hypochondria, so I'm really afraid of diseases. So that movie was like, that's really good. That's really good for me. That really increases anxiety, and I like, because you watch horror movies, for adrenaline, for anxiety, wait, like for the moment when like the anxiety explodes, and you get the kind of feeling you want from an horror movie. So I like it. And I also like the one called Ouija. Like, it's very short. It's like 5 minutes. I think it's so funny. I'm a little bit of a grammar Nazi, so so I understand how the demon feels when he gets corrected every time. I understand the people correcting the most, because I tend sometimes to correct people, and I shouldn't, but above all because English is not my first language, so I shouldn't, but then I understand also the frustration of the demon. So that one is so funny, and it's only 5 minutes. It makes you laugh.
Filming Ouija was really fun. The cast was so wonderful. Those 4 main actors. I'm dear friends with Matthew Scott Montgomery, one of the actors in it. Him and I were actually castmates on Disney So Random, and so I definitely have my little like grammar pet peeves, and I'm not as much of a grammar nerd as a lot of people are. I do my best, and the big ones that get me are like the your and your, like the apostrophe re, little things like that. But ultimately, I thought it would be really funny to create a project where there's these kind of grammar nerds that are very much focusing on the wrong thing, because there's certain times where it's like, yes, I do think that correcting grammar is important, and I think it is important to pay attention to that, but also there's more important things. And so I wanted to kind of show that contrast of like, you're clearly spelling it wrong, but also there's a demon that's attacking everybody, and maybe we should that one first.
They feel more pain because of the wrong grammar, than actually facing a demon. It's funny. And you were mentioning Matthew Scott Montgomery. I actually, I knew you guys before actually this, but like I remember I'm a big fan of Smosh, and I watched a Smosh cast with you and Matthew Scott.
Yeah.
I know these guys, but I was figuring that, then you guys talk about watch the footage and room, and like the horror movies. I said, oh yeah, I know Allisyn and Dylan from them. I didn't realize that also Matthew Scott was in the production, and he was actually like in the short movie, so I found out that I like Smosh, and I also I'm a fan of you guys. So that's kind of cool. And
absolutely.
You work with Shane and
Damien.
Damien. It's
fun little fact. Matthew Scott's actually in Room 566, but you would never know because he plays our creature.
True. Like, he's the creature. Like, you don't know it's him, but like it's him actually. It's a pretty good, pretty great actor too. Like Matthew Scott. It's really.
It was basically just giving him a call saying, "Hey, do you want to play a demon?"
He was like, yes. He asked no other questions. I was just like, you down to play a demon? He was like, absolutely. And I was like, okay, there's like full blackout contacts and like a bunch of prosthetics. He's like, yes, 100% yes. I was like, all right.
Yeah, it's another thing I really like of you guys is the little show Astrid Clover on Astrid Clover
Oh,
on
yes.
YouTube. Like, I actually leave sometimes comments because I think it's so funny. Like, it's hilarious. Like, the Karen ones was so funny. Like, but I mean, like, and I mean, like, I like comedy, maybe even more than horror, because I watch horror when I need some adrenaline, but comedy is when you actually feel like after a long day of 9 hours at the office in front of a computer, you don't want to do anything else. You watch
Sure.
a funny comedy, even short, because you don't want to get it too long. And I really like Astrid Clover. It's really, really cool and funny, to be honest. There are a few things that are like extreme, or like I say, there is always, like, boom guy try to bring you back to reason, because like you in the Astrid in the show is kind of going extreme, and sometimes like
the characters, I've always said, are just kind of exaggerated versions of ourselves, because the conversations that take place behind the camera are pretty darn similar to what goes on camera, of Dylan just being like, this is a bad idea, this is a dangerous thing, and I'm like, it's for the show, it'll be great, it'll be fine, everybody just make sure you're rolling the whole time.
So you're kind of grounding the situation, like you want to stay with your feet on the ground, like
yeah. I mean, there's definitely been times where
you've shut down a lot of my
here's
ideas.
the thing, Allisyn, for an episode a long time ago, it was like our Antichrist episode, she was like, okay, so I'm gonna put this sheet on, and then we'll catch it on fire, and then I'll just take it off. And I'm like, you want to take the sheet off after it's on fire? And she's like, yeah, I'll just do it quickly.
Just take it off quickly. It's not gonna like that. It's not gonna go up.
It's like, no, I'm not gonna let you light yourself on fire and then try and take it off. That's stupid. We're gonna
so fun.
We're gonna like have it halfway off of you first, then we'll light it on fire, so it's not on you.
Yeah, I understand you. Like, I was the kind of friend in my group of friends back home, like the one trying to, when I was playing for a band, like with my friends, and I was the grounder. Like, they hated me sometimes, but like I think I took them off trouble a couple of times, like plus we were playing in some pretty weird venues, I would say. Like, we were in a punk rock band, and punk rock in Italy is definitely not popular, and we were playing in some really strange venues with some people that probably nowadays you would like to avoid, like, so sometimes I was the oldest one as well, so probably they needed the grounder, like, maybe they hated me sometimes, but I feel that it's been a good idea to be there, like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Technically, Astrid Clover is not a watch the footage production. I mean, like, or it is not, like.
Everything we put our hands on is kind of a watch the footage production, because it's us, but
we are watch the footage. It's just the Astrid Clover was started before the idea of watch the footage was
even
made.
a thing. Yeah.
I joined Astrid Clover
about
almost
a year in,
5 years ago, or five or so years ago.
Yeah, because I remember we had a party for, was it the 50th episode? I had a party for the 50th episode that Dylan attended as just a guest and to come hang out. And then he ended up joining the series after we started dating.
Okay, that's a pretty cool show. I don't know if it's you said, like, when you were talking about Disney, like, why are you guys 30s and you're no kids and you're watching Disney? But it's not weird watching, like Astrid Clover. I think it's for a more adult audience, to be honest. Like, and you guys are very responsive, because sometimes I comment because it was funny. I comment that you, as a boom guy, most of the time you have this kind of earphones, those Sony here that I use. They're amazing. I commented as well, I love this episode, but the best thing is actually that you're wearing my same headphones also. And you guys responded. So I mean, like, you guys are really awesome and great with your fan, because you guys are responsive. Like, you guys responded to me, and you've been so amazing, making sure that your paintings would come to me. I mean, like, so really, really great people, to be honest. From, like, honestly, I really enjoy your stuff, and you guys also seem great guys. Like.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we have. I mean, obviously, we know that we wouldn't be anywhere without people who are supporting our work, and doing anything creative is. you got to have people supporting it because it's entertainment. So if you're not entertaining anybody or you're not catering to that, making sure that you're kind of growing that grassroots fan base, you're not going to get anywhere. And so